Seen from the depths of space, the Earth glitters like a blue sapphire. Billions of years ago, conditions and the distance from the Sun were perfect for two things to form: water and then life. Covering 3/4 of the Earth's surface, water is the source of all life on our planet. The oceans, where life first began, contain nearly 97% of all the water on Earth. The other 3% is fresh water, most of which is still frozen as ice in the polar caps. Of this, less than 0.5% of fresh water is directly available to us in the form of rivers, lakes, and rain. This water does not increase or decrease, but is recycled in a continuous cycle. Rainfall is born of forests. Moisture evaporates as water vapor to come back down as rain, becoming flowing, life-giving rivers. This is nature's unique hydrological cycle, held together with a crucial link. A link which is on the edge of survival and will determine the fate of our existence. Forests. The Earth's first forests and trees formed around 300 million years ago, long before the first humans. Acting like giant sponges, filtering and recycling water, the rainforest grew. Rivers were born in the heart of these mighty forests. Rivers which continue to flow to this day. A tree never moves, yet from where it stands, it provides us with the most essential element of life: water. From its deepest roots to the tip of its highest leaf, it orchestrates the hydrological cycle. They hold moisture, form wind barriers, prevent soil erosion, and recharge underground aquifers. They are the lungs of the earth, stabilizing the atmosphere by absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. a crucial factor for all life on Earth. Forests hold more than half of the species on the planet. The first civilizations settled along rivers, and today, around a third of the world's largest cities get their drinking water directly from forests. Our food, medicines, and resources depend on the biodiversity that these trees and forests support. But we are disrupting this balance. Transforming the face of continents at an alarming rate. Half of the forests that existed at the dawn of the agrarian age have now disappeared. Only 22% of the old-growth forests remain. Jog, India's second highest waterfall, is born within the tropical forests of the Western Ghats. During peak monsoon, 152,000 litres of water gushes down its cliff every second. This water flows 830 feet below, joining River Sharavati to finally reach the cities for our drinking needs. Stretching 1,600 kilometers along the western coast of India, the Ghats' positioning influences rainfall patterns and makes it the monsoon gateway to the subcontinent. Himalayan glaciers are assumed to be the only source of fresh water. But over 300 rivers, small and large, flow out of these rainforests, accounting for 20% of India's total freshwater outflow.
The Western Ghats is where it's a source of a lot of these west-flowing rivers, especially in the district. These rivers are a source of life, be it for the people who are dependent on these water sources for their agriculture or drinking water, or be it for ecotourism, because you have a lot of these falls.
A biodiversity hotspot home to some of the most unique life forms, the Western Ghats is one of the largest existing aquifers. But today, the Ghats are under severe threat. Large developmental projects have fragmented the Ghats. Severely affecting biodiversity and disrupting natural cycles. The ideal percentage of forest cover required in the Western Ghats is 66%. Today, less than 35% remains. Indigenous tribes have lived here for centuries in complete dependence on the forest and its resources for water, food, shelter, and livelihood. Today, forests have become an overexploited resource for not only produce and industry, but also to cater to the rapidly increasing demands of the consumer age. Almost everything we use is directly or indirectly related to the raw materials that are extracted from the forest.
Because you're worth it.
Technologies of exploitation have become faster and more efficient, speeding up the loss of forest cover to a frightening pace. It is estimated that the world is losing as much as 323 square kilometers of forest a day. An area the size of Mumbai. Over the last 30 years, India has lost majority of her forests.
There is a very big threat that is there in the form of industrialization activities, essentially energy projects and mining. Both Western Ghats and the central part of India have been facing very, very grave danger from these industrialization. For example, in central India itself, in the last 5 years, we've lost 26,000 hectares of forest land only for coal mining.
Mangroves, the guardians of our coasts, and the most crucial link for survival of marine diversity, have shrunk by 20% over the last 30 years, mainly due to shrimp farming. Healthy forests are being replaced by monoculture plantations to supply the paper industry. Hack down for fuel, excavate building materials, and to clear land for farming. One billion people across the world do not have access to clean drinking water. About 40% of India's population also struggles for access to water. With so many people already facing water scarcity, it is essential we protect the forest to ensure water security for the future. If the forests disappear, the rivers of the Western Ghats will soon start drying up. Not many yet understand and know this link between forests and water. In remote areas, people have to walk 2 to 4 hours each day to meet their daily needs. Yet we continue to mindlessly clear forest land. Added to this is the pressure of population on the limited sources of water. The agricultural sector depends largely on groundwater for its needs. This is not judicially used. Wasteful water practices are not checked. 90% of all our groundwater usage is used by the agricultural sector. The remaining are tapped for industrial and domestic use. Groundwater resources are limited, not endless. Water tables have dropped drastically in the Western Ghats in the last decade. Forests play a very important role in the recharging of groundwater. They allow percolation of water back into the earth and enriches the soil. Without trees, the rainwater would just run off. Cherrapunji, which receives a high volume of rainfall each year, also faces acute water shortages after the rainfalls are over. This is only because Cherrapunji does not have enough vegetation to help catch rainwater and percolate it back into the soil. Most of the water just runs off the mountainsides. Lack of forests has had disastrous impacts globally, affecting global climate and biodiversity. Floods and droughts, which have left millions homeless as refugees with no home or stable future. What happened in Haiti and happens closer home in Bangladesh and Orissa year after year is a warning sign. The Western Ghats could have a similar future.
According to the projections of some of the climate models, the Western Ghats could experience anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5 degree warming in the next 50 to 100 years. Any impact of climate change on the Western Ghats forest systems will be very crucial for this part of India as well as for the globe.
The forests can no longer sustain the immense pressure. Cheryl D'Souza, an activist, is leading a grassroots movement in Goa against destruction by mining. The mining industry is controlled by a handful of families and a few private companies. For the last 3 years, daily confrontations with hundreds of trucks blocking the road, red dust choking the fields and orchards, the alarming depletion of the water in the wells and springs spurred her to action. With the fields ruined and barren and water drying up, the local communities have joined hands with Cheryl.
Kepe region, especially this region here, is the cache for water. The main tributaries for our rivers, for fresh water. Sarauli Dam, our dam, feeds on these rivers. And we've seen what's happened in Bicholi with the miners. You don't want that to happen here. You know, we've lost quite a bit of our water already in the last 4 years with this indiscriminate mining. If it continues, we're not going to have water. The basic fight of the villagers, people like me, is water. It's survival. It's not right. It's not morally right to destroy people's water, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect them too.
With collaborative efforts, the forests of the Western Ghats can be conserved. Our destinies are closely entwined with that of the forests. There is an urgent need to protect our remaining forest cover and to rejuvenate forests wherever possible. Water recycling and water harvesting measures need to be put into place. Industries have to be held accountable for the water they use. We need to make sure that all water drawn from the river for industrial use is recycled and purified before it is let back into the river. This can help loss of fresh water due to pollution from industrial waste. Water use in the agricultural sector needs to use efficient methods. Huge water losses also occur through irrigation. Simple methods such as drip irrigation can reduce water use by 75%. Drip irrigation allows water to reach directly to the roots, unlike tube well irrigation, where there are huge amounts of water wastage. One of the most important methods of conserving water is rainwater harvesting. This essentially means collecting rainwater and storing it underground for later use. Rainwater harvesting is essential to stop the decline in groundwater levels and use rainwater efficiently. In cities, we need to change our attitudes towards water and think, where does the water in our tap come from? When we understand the link between the water we drink and the forests, we can reduce the amount we use to only what we need. These savings may seem minimal, but each drop that you save is making a huge difference. Policymakers also urgently need to manage, allocate, and plan the use of water resources in the country. When we destroy forests, we destroy the very chance of our survival. Our planet's history does not have to be written this way. Forests still cover a third of the planet's land area. World over, people are fighting to protect the forests. This is the time to look for alternatives. Other choices and ways do exist. Understanding, information, and education can change the direction of where we are headed, if only we alter our mindset. Water and forests are inseparable. They are the guardians, the sentinels who have stood for hundreds of years, producing our water and protecting our future. Nature is resilient. All we need to do is give her a fighting chance to survive.